Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Business Podcast, your source for all things business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at Adam Torres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Xavier Baez on the line. He's founder over at Xavier Baez International Ministries. Xavier, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So excited to get into today's topic, so why biblical principles are effective in the marketplace. But before we do that, let's get a little bit further into your background of what you're doing over at Xavier Baez International Ministries. First, tell us a little bit more about your ministry.
Well, for the past decade, we're working with different organizations, churches, from Central America to even several churches within the continent of Africa. We even came back from India last year. And basically, is the infrastructure, not only the churches, but also the businesses within that. We teach them about the ability of growing from their services to growing their churches, to growing even how to expand within their region. And it is a strategic way that you could use it, not only using biblical standards, but also how they were able to work with other individuals from personal to groups. So basically, we work with the heads, the leaders, the presidents of associations, or in the different terms, even their bishops of their denominations. And we help them infrastructure and build.
Let's transition a bit. I want to get into what today's topic. So why biblical principles are effective in the marketplace. So where do you want to start with that one?
Well, I believe that when we operate even on the corporate, I'm an entrepreneur, and giving me the opportunity, I've opened up 3 other companies, and I've used biblical principles not only within a ministry, but even in my companies, 2 real estate investing corporations that I've entered, and one that deals with sales. And what basically the structure, just one particular one that I want to share with you, is the one that Jesus spoke with the disciples about going the extra mile. Now, a lot of people might seem that only open up the Bible is just a religious or growth on your faith. But if you use it in the marketplace today, I believe that even that same principle, going the extra mile, you could gain not only your revenues or income, your customers. For example, if one individual takes that particular principle, take it into their marketplace, themselves, and they go the extra mile as Jesus instructed the disciples, they will gain not only faithful customers, lifetime faithful customers, but others by the word of mouth, others will come just because of that simple procedure of going an extra mile for a customer.
No, I love it. And I think I love that you make the tie between the Bible and business, because what I see the Bible is it's teaching you life. I mean, it is faith, of course, but how to live. And so going that extra mile for your clients and otherwise, it's a big deal. So what would be next? Let's say, okay, so that's one great tip to go the extra mile. Give me another one. I know you're full of them.
Well, let's say one of the things I teach is integrity, and shows about how, a lot of people say, well, a man, God, woman of God, a man of faith that will operate at least within the churches has to have integrity. But think about, even although as a business leader, you have employees that see the leader, the actual one that will have to make the decisions. There might be flaws, like there's flaws in everything. But one of the things is that if they'll be honest and they show integrity, not only they'll be able to build strong leadership within their own organization, but their own employees will be able to touch, because they see that they'll be following a man or a woman of integrity at the highest. And it's simply because they're open book. They're not trying to hide anything. They're not trying to steal. They're just taking the higher procedure of what we'll call higher standards. And that's one thing the Bible teaches us, that we will have to have that higher standard of integrity. Now, another thing that I do want to just add in also is another principle about the golden rule. Jesus have told us about the golden rule. What you do to others is what you want them to do to you. And that if just even the salesperson, one in your organization with a product, and you want them to treat you well and understand what it is, you treat them first, you'll win them over. One thing about leaders is sometimes when you're in a high position, you think that the employees has to do what you need to do. And many lose great employees just because their attitude is not following the golden rule. But if they're able to serve them and truly pour their hearts towards them, they'll be able to strengthen their own team that eventually will bring in more income to their companies.
Where do you find people? Because I know there's a lot of people of faith that own businesses that maybe sometimes forget, or it's like separate, like it's like segregating their thoughts. There's my work, there's my faith. Like, where do you find people go wrong in making that connection in your experience?
Well, they separated. When I've done some of the leadership with corporate, that's nothing. Mm-hmm. I usually bring in teachings or a training that has to be developed within this principle. I don't mention Jesus. I'm not preaching. It's not nothing to do, you say, with the name of Jesus. Yet, when they come up to me, they say, man, that's great. I appreciate the training. Yet, I'm basically training them the same way I train bishops and pastors in another country, and I do use Jesus. Mm-hmm. So I think it's the way that men are brought up. I think they believe that many times we've been brainwashed in that saying, well, this is religious, so we have to separate the religious from outside of the business. But the principle, foundation, and truth stays the same. You could cater it different ways. You could have different language, colors, whatever it is. But a foundation and truth, if you take it from the Bible, use it for your own life, for marriage or business, you will see the fruit of it.
Man, I love this. So, Xavier, if somebody's listening to this and they want more information on Xavier Baez International Ministries and to follow all the work that you're doing, what's the best way for them to reach out and get that info?
Well, they could go to our website, xavierbaez.org. They could also call our office, where it will be 803-563-6062. Or they could also follow social media. We're on Instagram, where you'll follow Xavier Baez _ or Facebook.com, Baez A Xavier. And there they'll be able to see all of our existing operations that we currently also do.
Fantastic. Well, hey, Xavier, been awesome having you on the show. Thank you for coming on and giving us some more insight into why biblical principles are effective in the marketplace. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store, share this with your friends and your family. Do all those great things we do to support our podcasters. I really do appreciate it. And Xavier, thanks again for coming on the show.